the final of the Olympic 100 meters.
Less than goal first time, and Ben Johnson got a brilliant start. It's Johnson away and clear, and Lewis is not going to catch him. Johnson wins it. Lewis second, Christie third. Christie got the bronze.
As many of you know, it's been a trying winter for me and my U.S. Postal Service cycling team. In November of last year, a formal investigation was launched into our team regarding the alleged use of performance-enhancing drugs. I'm very happy to report today that we have received confirmation that the results of the testing of our urine samples have proven to be negative. To be clear, we have learned that our urine samples did not contain EPO or any other banned substance, as we knew they would not. This investigation is going to be closed, and we're going to be proven innocent. But when we're proven innocent, and we're proving that the only thing we've taken is a bunch of hard work, and I wish we would write that story as well, and I think that's only fair. I look forward to racing again this week in France, and over the next few months, I plan to do a few other races here. And of course, on July 7th, I plan on defending my Tour de France title.
A world champion in 1987, Olympic champion in 1988, and a world record holder. Lance Armstrong, who achieved, almost I'd say, mythological status due to the fact that he survived an aggressive form of testicular cancer that went through the rest of his body, to be honest, and he was only given something like 3% chance to survive, which he did miraculously. Not only did he survive that testicular cancer and raise millions and millions of pounds for cancer charity, he was also the world road race champion and 7 times Tour de France champion. So both men were the number one. They reached the pinnacle of their sport. But can anyone tell me what are they both remembered for? They achieved excellence in their sport. James?
Cheats.
Absolutely. That is what they are now known for. Despite their incredible achievements, they were achieved through taking performance-enhancing drugs. Ben Johnson specifically took anabolic steroids with the aim of increasing the size and the strength of his muscles so he'd have more power, which should help him generate more, which is the combination of speed and strength. So by having that power, he was able to run more quickly. Lance Armstrong, well, he took a concoction of a variety of performance-enhancing drugs. He took EPO to increase his oxygen uptake, because he would cycle for hours on end in the Tour de France. He took testosterone to increase his muscle size. He'd also take specific performance-enhancing drugs to hide the fact that he was taking performance-enhancing drugs. All in the aim of being number one. Now I picked out those two because they're considered to be, I guess, the ultimate examples of those who cheated to win, but by no means are they alone. Diego Maradona, World Cup winning captain, 1986. In 1994, failed a drugs test. H. was Rodriguez, plays for the New York Yankees, who did, failed a drugs test. Marion Jones, multiple Olympic champion, failed a drug test. And even now, these are from years ago, Maria Sharapova failed a drug test in January. Brock Lesnar, some of you may know from WWE, also fights in the UFC, failed a drug test in his last fight. So, the question is, why do elite sportsmen do it? And I think they're the reasons they do it. They're how can you recover from injury? Because of the pressure that is put on them to succeed by their fans, by their teammates, by themselves, by their spectators. Finance. Armstrong became a multi-millionaire. Maradona became a millionaire. The sponsorship contracts that these guys attracted made them, or played a part in them thinking about cheating. They wanted to give themselves an edge, to be number one. But ultimately, they got caught. They got found out. So this is my controversial proposal. This is what I'd like you to discuss potentially. What happens if we say no? We've got people that cheat, we know people cheat, and we can't stop it. Why don't we say everyone should be allowed to take performance enhancing drugs? Why don't we say everyone can take performance enhancing drugs? Then everyone can take advantage of the same opportunity. So we don't talk about the ones who got caught, but what we do is we say, right, okay, these sportsmen no longer have the edge. And I think this could be a really significant step forward for quite a lot of reasons. TUEs are massively in the news at the moment. Therapeutic use exemptions, they're called. Fancy bears, apparently from Russia, have hacked into the WILDER database, and they have looked at all the therapeutic use exemption forms that different athletes have taken. Now, if all sportsmen are allowed to take performance enhancing drugs, TUEs become irrelevant. There is no grey area. The Fancy Bears hackers, they have put out there in the public that the following people took TUEs. Bradley Wiggins has had to defend himself on various forums, be it on the Andrew Marsh show, be it on the Guardian and on the website. Mo Farah has had to defend his use of TUEs, as has Laura Kenny, Chris Froome, Serena Williams, Simone Biles and Rafael Nadal. There are others. Now, they've all been given clearance to take these medical forms, to take these illegal drugs because of some sort of medical condition. Therapeutic use exemption form is basically when you are allowed to take a performance enhancing drug. When you're allowed to take an illegal drug, but it has been cleared by independent medical doctors. Right. So they've said, yes, you're not deliberately intending to improve your performance, you're using it for an actual medical reason. However, with the data that's been released by the Fancy Bears, some are arguing that they have manipulated that situation to still try to get an edge. And in the case of Bradley Wiggins, someone like that, his reputation has been severely tarnished because he took a TUE for, I think it was 3 years on the trot at exactly the same time, and always before the Tour de France. First year he finished fourth, second year he had to withdraw for injury, third year he won it. Now, the problem is with TUEs at the moment is creating a grey area. So these sportsmen and women, quite possibly, aren't cheating. They're following the rules, but we've got this grey area. If everyone's allowed to take performance enhancing drugs, this grey area becomes non-existent. It doesn't matter. There is no difference whether you take them or not. Rafael Nadal has suffered numerous injuries. Again, is he using it for medical reasons, or is he using it to actually improve his performance? Second question, and I don't think anyone can answer this. Again, why I believe performance enhancing drugs should be available and open to everyone. It creates a level playing field. We don't know how clean professional sport is. There is no one who can say for definite that all footballers are clean. All rugby players are clean. There's no way of knowing. Now, the drug testers, they're always trying to play catch up with the creators of these new drugs. The doctors who are putting in their laboratories who are trying to cheat to create these drugs that their performers can use, they will make a lot of money from it, and they're trying to make them more and more sophisticated, unable to detect those drugs to be detected. So, as it says here, the drug testers are always behind the cheaters. That's why we've had so many retrospective positive testing. 63 athletes, I think it was, from the 2012 games have been found to have cheated, but 3 to 4 years after the event. How many of those have still got away with it? Goldie Sayers is a prime example. She should have won a bronze medal. She should have stood on the podium to receive the acknowledgement, the cheers, the celebration that she had won a medal. She got her bronze medal, or found out about her bronze medal, 4 years later on a motorway. So she didn't get that moment to celebrate as a winner. Because the person who beat her to bronze was only 4 years later that they found out that she was a drug cheat. And they're the ones that we know of. I believe there are lots of other people, elite sportsmen, who are willing to cheat to gain the edge and get away with it. But again, if everyone's allowed to take performance enhancing drugs, it becomes a level playing field. It doesn't matter. Some people would argue that if you allow everyone to take performance enhancing drugs, it's against the spirit of the sport. I believe you can counteract that. Is it within the sport for jockeys to flog their horse? Is it within the spirit of the sport that some F1 teams have a far superior and a far bigger budget than other teams? That doesn't seem to be within the spirit of sport to me. Is it within the sport that some football teams get millions and millions and millions of pounds invested into them by foreign owners, where others are really, within reason, struggling to get players on a similar sort of contract? If everyone is allowed to take performance enhancing drugs, there's no rules being broken. Everyone's on the same playing field. So that argument becomes irrelevant. And athletes train at altitude to try to increase the number of red blood cells. That's what they do. They go to an area where there's not much oxygen with the sole aim of increasing their red blood cells, which is great. Not everyone can do that. I would argue that is a form of enhancing your performance, but it's legally acceptable. And finally, another reason why I think performance enhancing drugs should be allowed is just imagine the impact that could have on sporting performance. Usain Bolt can run 100 metres in 9.58 seconds. Just imagine how quickly he could run if he was on performance enhancing drugs. He might be the first person to run sub 9 seconds. Imagine how quickly elite marathoners could go. That mythical benchmark of breaking 2 hours, that had become far more common. I presented why people can't really take performance enhancing drugs. I've shown you different examples of who take performance enhancing drugs and their potential reasons. And I think, even though it's a controversial proposal, I have outlined why I think performance enhancing drugs should be allowed in sports. I think, as I said, it can improve performance, it creates a level playing field, there's no grey area with these TUEs, and it ensures that we, as the spectators, the ones who pay their money to watch at the stadium or on the TV, we get full value for money. Gents, I'd love to hear your opinions. I'm done.